Local plans will not be allowed to gold plate beyond building standard rules except for accessibility and saving water in areas of shortage, nor require internal layouts except for mandating the national space standards. No more rules on dual aspect or maximum homes per lift core. So our architect, who I had a meeting with yesterday, he said that this could actually be quite a significant material change to kind of abolish the dual aspect, which has caused quite a few issues in places like London, where you have overlooking issues and stuff like that. Do you want to speak to that, Jack, as well? Do you think that's going to have a material difference?
Um, Again, this is all sort of positive chat, but as to actually how that plays out, there's too many competing interests. You got to think, if we're looking at light, that's going to engage your environmental health officer at the council. They're probably not going to be too happy with this. Yeah, the planners have got a decision to make. So it helps with what we're trying to argue and get in terms of density, in terms of a product. But as to actually how that plays out, we need to see changes to local plans that need to be adopted by councillors in planning committees to these local plans, and that's what will take time. So I think this is positive, but we're not going to see the fruit of this change for some time.
I was just going to say, you're actually speaking to another good point there about committees. They can do all of this, these changes to policy, but if councillors still have these fucking crazy amount of powers to pull any scheme that they like into a committee, and then you just take all of this law and policy stuff that they've changed and put it back into subjective eyes, where people who aren't qualified, who may not even know all the planning policy, just go, nah, we don't like that, so we're going to reject it. Sure, you might win an appeal, but that can still create a huge bottleneck and time cost. And are there any changes to committee powers? Are they? I know that's been spoken about, but
They've spoken about it, but no, you're still voting at your local elections every few years or so. You've still got your planning committee that are there and going to say yes or no to a scheme. They are still making a decision.
What about the planning and infrastructure bill, Jack? Is that changing or streamlining any planning consents or anything like that?
Um, Not per se, no. It's had six sittings through Parliament. It will soon become law. And all it does, I say all it does, there are a few good changes, but it does again speak to the kind of top end of development. And I'm talking about again the bigger schemes and how the mechanics of the planning inspectorate work and how the mechanics of delivery work. So councillors are still going to be in their seats saying yes or no. That's not changing. But there has been a lot of talk around whether they should be in their seats making decisions on certainly smaller applications. I think they're trying to take away the smaller sites that arguably shouldn't need to go to committee and speed those elements up.
the amount of times I've been in committee and I'm there to try and deliver, maybe 10 apartments or a large HMO or something material, and then I'm waiting for like 3 hours to listen to applications where someone's trying to build a garage, and the neighbour's like, I don't like your fucking garage because it's peeking over my fence line, and I'm like, how much time is getting wasted?
I seen your video of the garage you did, and you remember you knocked it down. You did something, didn't you? And it caused uproar in your area.
Yeah, done a few of those, mate. But oh, yesterday, yeah, yesterday, just complete tangent, right? So these, I think I spoke about this on the podcast. New Article 4 direction sweeping comes in overnight, right, across the whole South Tyneside area. It's screwed us on a whole load of sites, and we're having to deal with, strategic ways of getting out of it and all that kind of shit. One site, 8-bed HMO, within less than a week, 12. Well, it's now actually 1,300 appealants. 1,300. Talk about a community banding together, like, and they've just gone, right, everyone fucking write in, everyone complain. Da, 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 da. It's gone mental.
That's good going.
1,300. That's insane.
Wow.
Sorry.
Back to this sizes and right and light. So the problem with this is obviously it opens a can of worms for if you submit a planning application under not having to have dual aspect, you're still going to have to submit probably a daylight sunlight survey and show how light the areas are. So that one opens up a can of worms for someone to just be difficult, which they do because they're power hungry. And two, and Ryan's going to absolutely love this. Why don't we just do what we want? Let the free market speak.
Amen, baby.
If someone wants to rent an 8 meter squared flat, let them fucking crack on. They won't be able to get a mortgage, so it devalues the unit. We then can't sell it, so we're not going to be doing it. And
it's funny you say that, Jack, because I was literally talking about this yesterday at a dinner meeting, where obviously we build social and affordable housing and etc. And obviously this for homeless and stuff as well. And there's people that were in hotels who have been in hotels for years, and they are in basically 10 square meter room or less than that. And but that we have certain design standards in Wales for social housing that are greater than private. So a 1 bedroom flat is like 52 square meters, and it was like, you know, if you had a 35 square meter flat, which is still livable in my opinion, and if you offered that to somebody who's homeless or in a hotel, they wouldn't be basically like, no, I'd rather stay on the street than it's got to be 52
I
square
think
meters.
it's too big. It's too big.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's so fucking true.
And it brings me back to the Ryanair statement, which is free market talk, which is where the owner of Ryanair wanted to release standing in the flight so he can get more people in, and obviously the authorities were like, well, you can't do that because people won't buy the tickets. And he's like, you watch, if I get an all standing flight, price is half, and that flight will be fuller than people sitting. And that's what, it's like allowing, and I completely agree. It's like
free market should decide all day long.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, maybe.
Just on the point, Dorian, about social housing. So we've got social housing in South London, and when we finished our first unit, which was a 4-bed, we had like our first viewing, and I was quite excited because I was like, I've done private HMOs, I've never done social housing, and we had a viewing in our social housing unit in South London, and they rejected it. They literally walked in and were like, "No, it's not for me." I was like, "What do you mean it's?" So when it fed back to me, I was like, "What do they mean it's not for them? It's a brand new, like back to brick renovation. We spent a lot, like it's just as good as our private stuff, which people pay money for." I was like, "Where are they?"
We've had both sides of the coin. We've had people that are like really overjoyed and in tears and stuff like that, and then equally on the other side, we've had people that they literally just turn up in a car, don't even get out of the car, hand out the window, keys, going like that with their hand, keys. Like, right, okay.
Wow.